Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of Chris's Retro Corner. I'm Chris, this is my Retro Corner, and this is the system board for my Amstrad CPC464. So in the previous episode, popped some power in just to see if it would do anything. It didn't. We started looking at the switch, investigating some voltages, and ultimately took the board out. So yeah, so that's what we ended up with. It's pretty grungy. It doesn't look like it's seen the best of days, especially over here and the likes. So what I propose to do before anything else is clean this up. So I'm going to clean this up, and then I'm going to start looking at the voltages, because when I tested the voltage sort of incoming here, I tested it sort of on the connector. Where are we? There we go. Sort of at the back of the pin connector here, and sort of also just on the, there we go, back on camera, just on the sort of edge sleeve, sort of internal barrel sleeve connector as well. What I didn't do, and what I should have done, was sort of tested the voltages over here, and I've monkeyed about since, and it's a bit inconsistent. It's a bit curious, and as you can see, I did wonder if this was from factory, and I strongly doubt it, to be honest. I've seen the underside of other boards of this revision. They do not look like that. So yeah, if you can see that there, I'll talk about board revision. So this is MC0044D, and it says part number here Z70375. Okay, so that's a mid-size board. It's a third revision board, or third issue board, of a mid-size. And the gate array there is also there. Is the was it 40009 as well? Because there are a few boards difference that had a 10 gate array there. So yeah, so I do need to check the voltages there. I'm sorely tempted to remove this. I'm not quite sure why it's there. It was probably fixing something that was broken already. So that was one thing. I need to test the voltages properly, basically. Another one was that the switch was dirty. You saw me test the switch. I flicked it on and off a few times. Nothing happened. There was no continuity there. So I took it apart and cleaned it, and it did work. It flicked on and off. So I'm happy that was a problem anyway. So I've resolved that. So that's good. Also wondered and checked for voltage at the switch as well, just to see if there was anything there. So when we made contact with the voltage, and interestingly, the multimeter did pick up a voltage. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. It was about 1.27 volts or something, and it just started dropping and dropping and dropping, and eventually just fizzled out to nothing, although I'd got the power lead in the back of the device. So the only thing I can put that down to now, sort of in retrospect, was perhaps there was a capacitor. There's one there. There is some more on the control board, just on top of or underneath, depending on which way up your orientation is, on the tape transport mechanism. So there are a bunch more there as well. But I do wonder if it was perhaps just a capacitor that was just slowly losing its charge. So yeah, interesting. So that's what I plan to do. I do have as well a spare socket, just in case that looks terrible and I decide to throw it away. But first up, need to give that a good clean. So I'm going to give that a right old dousing with some IPA, and give it a scrub with a trusty scrubbing toothbrush. It's a toothbrush, it's not a scrubbing brush. So yeah, get a little bit of kitchen roll down to catch the worst of the overspill. And we shall set about giving that a damn fine scrubbing. But before I do that, I might just brush the worst of that off. Back in a sec. So that does, and I'm sure you'll agree, already look an awful lot better. So yeah, it's just some fluff and dust and nonsense on there, but it makes our life a little easier when we're trying to clean it up. So on to the main event. So that's the first pass done. Now for the more detailed stuff. Well, that's one side of the board. It's by no means perfect whatsoever, but it's a lot better. What I did find is there's an awful lot of sort of waxy residue on here, not just solder flux or anything, but yeah, really waxy residue. It's actually very hard to get off, and there were a number of occasions where I found teeny weeny little solder balls on the surface of the board as well. So I don't think I'm going to ever get that looking new. It looks a lot nicer on camera actually than it does in real life. But yeah, let's move on. It's going to now cleaning it up is going to make it an awful lot easier to try and troubleshoot later, so you can actually see where the traces go now, whereas they were quite hidden by dust, grime and general nonsense. So yeah, to the back of the board, and let's carry on. Don't know if you can see that, but there's some really nasty, sticky brown stuff on the back of that circuit board. It's not right nice. I might need something a little stronger than IPA to clean this one up. I think it's about time to call in the contact cleaner. Okay, so some time has passed. The IPA has dried on here, and as you can see, it's left, well, I don't think it's left a residue. I think this is flux residue from way back when, but it's left this really nasty chalkiness on the board. So we're going to need something, I think, a little stronger, as I've suggested, and that's going to be some contact cleaner. It's very similar to IPA. It's pretty much exactly the same thing. There's possibly a few other little chemicals and such like in here, but it does say that it's for cleaning electrical circuits, contacts, fast drying, non-conductive and non-residue as well, and that's really helpful. So we'll give this a dousing, and then we shall start our second cleaning process. As you can see there was an awful lot of sticky brown nasty stuff, so I'm assuming that's some 30-year-old Coke or Pepsi maybe that's worked its way into the computer, but that's already starting to look a lot better. So I'll give it another squirt down. Again, you can see some overspray there. That's pretty grim. I'll give it another spray down, and then I'll start detailing that with some cotton buds. See if we can take off as much of that brown nastiness as possible. Oh dear, there's still a lot of gunk coming off the back of this board. This board is going to need a lot of cleaning. don't know what's got on this. This is really quite remarkable. It's making me wonder whether or not I need to go over the other side. I probably do. It's still not amazing, but at least you can see the traces and where they're going now. And that is the aim. This is it's being cleaned really, so I can see what goes where, and just make sure that I can, when I'm troubleshooting, I'm trying to make sure I can work out whether there's good contact between certain places on the board. So we'll carry on cleaning. Okay, that's not looking too bad now. It still feels, it's really weird, the board feels sticky, so on the edges where I haven't cleaned it, it's kind of tacky and sticky, which is kind of a worry. I do wonder if the board's soaked up whatever's been spilt in here. It does seem strange that it doesn't seem to be so much on the top of the board. I mean, it was a bit grotty before I started cleaning it up, but it's not really too bad now. But yeah, there's some very sticky edges still. Anyway, I don't know. I was half wondering if it was maybe nicotine build-up. If this had been in a room with smoking it over some time, because it's quite yellowy looking gunk that's coming off this. But yeah, that was very, very strange. There were a few spells there where I think I may have identified a few dry joints. I'm not entirely sure, but I've taken pictures as we're going along. You may see this in the speeded up footage, of course, because there's no way I'm going to make you sit through this. This is like 2.5, coming up for 3 hours worth of cleaning, if not more now. So yeah, I'm not going to make you sit through that. But yeah, there are definitely a few little dry joints. There's sort of one here that's a bit open. There's one over here I just saw just a moment ago. Can't even remember where I saw it now. It's a good thing I'm taking pictures, because I'll look back. There we go. There's one of them. So pin 20, 21, 22 here of. Is that a ULA? I guess it is. I'm pretty sure I've seen pictures of the word Amstrad written on that. So I think that's a ULA under here. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. There may be more than a few problems with this board. Let's have a quick zoom up, and I'll show you this. Now I've cleaned up the power socket. If I get it into the right light, you can see. Let me get a pointy thing. There we go, pointy thing. You can see that there's scratches sort of underneath here. Sort of over here as well, underneath here. So this is all, yeah, I guess this is part of this repair, because this is not factory. That's not factory. I've looked that up and it's not. So what I think what I'm going to do is I'll give this a light spritz over, a last brush down, and we'll call that done for now. At least I can see what I'm doing sort of when I'm looking at some of these tiny weeny little solder connections. We'll call it done for now, and I will start troubleshooting the board again. So let's let that dry off, and then we shall tidy up a little bit and go back to troubleshooting. Well, I've got an apology to make. The next section is going to be shot from one camera only. I couldn't sleep one night. I thought it would be a great idea to use the time productively. I got up to do some editing, and I wasn't awake as much as I thought I was, and I accidentally deleted the content from the two cameras. That's this one here that you're looking at, and the one on this side. I spent hours trying to recover that missing footage, so I could do the 3-angle thing, and yeah, I couldn't do it. So yeah, very early in the morning is not the best time to do editing if you can't sleep. So I've learned that. I do keep 2 backup drives, and yeah, after shooting I'd forgotten to put them on the backup drives. Not even 1 but 2, and I'd forgotten to do it. Somewhat annoyingly also, my phone, which is being used here, I tend to run it really close to capacity, so it doesn't allow for any stuff in the recycle bin. Why would it? And the one I use on this side doesn't have that function. So all I've got, and thanks go to Mrs. Retro Corner for managing her space a little bit better than my own. So we've got footage from this side. So what you'll see is the footage from this side. I've done with it the best I can. So my apologies to you. So yeah, do bear with me just for a little bit, please. So now that's dried off a little bit, let's have a quick look around the board. It does look an awful lot nicer now. There's none of that sort of brown sticky stuff. I don't know what it was. It's ever so sticky, and whilst ever the IPA or indeed the contact cleaner kept the board wet, it was making the edges of the board ever so sticky, very tacky indeed. You'll see here there are little bits where the green lacquer has come away, and that is basically because I was holding, I was holding the board still with my hand, and then I've removed my hand, and the whatever the sticky substance was, although it's a bubble in the lacquer, there's where is it there? You can kind of see and hear that there's a bubble under there, but the whatever the sticky stuff was adhering to me, and I was pulling the green lacquer off the board. But yeah, like I say, that's looking an awful lot better. It probably looks better than that side now. So that's possibly another job for another day. But let's just see if we can get it working first. So we'll pop that out of the way. Even that last brushing over, you can see it's taken some of that nasty whatever that is off with it. So there's our board. What we do need to do, really, I'll probably need to fetch down the bottom. Let's have a think, where is it? Oop. I'll probably need to fetch down the top of the case. There we go. Oh, nice and dusty. And so we can plug that in. I think so we can use our power switch. So that's our power lead. Double check that's plugged in. Okay. Think of the best way of doing this. So that would ordinarily be in there. There we go. So we'll pop that there. Actually, we won't be able to see the power. We won't be able to see the power LED. I'm plugging it in basically because, as much as I don't think that's going to have changed anything, sort of cleaning the board either side, There's the remotest possible chance, I guess, that some form of bridged connection has been cleaned and cleared. So yeah, I guess it's a possibility that could have made a difference. So let's have a think. Let's pop that there. Don't know if our switch is on or off at the moment. It's probably off. We'll turn that over. There we go. Try and actually get it all in shot. So that's what we're looking for. I think that's off already. We'll apply some power and then we'll switch on. And nothing. Okay, fair enough. That's okay. So we do know that the switch is working now. We do need to start tracing the power on that board and seeing where it gets to. So I think I can do that without the rest of the computer plugged in. So we'll pop that away. Just pop that over there for safekeeping. Let's turn our attentions back to this. Pop some reading glasses on so we get a decent look. At some point I'll get a USB microscope and so we can get a better look. But for now it's just going to be the reading glasses. Just make sure that's there. Yeah, good. Aha, which way round is it? I think it's centre positive. Yep, so we've got solid 5.05 volts there. So let's pop that in. Remember I said that I think I wasn't quite as good testing that connection perhaps as I should have been. So really what we should be doing is checking that this is actually making it to the board. So I can see a little bit of the barrel connector there. We can put our probe just there and then just check we're getting voltage there. So indeed we are. So the voltage is making it to there. What about to there? It doesn't seem to be. It's interesting, isn't it? So that's the centre of the pin there. Yep. Just working my way down that contact. It still seems to be okay, but not there. And I was pretty sure that was going to be the contact. So I'm trying the metal that's on the socket here. A little hard for you to see, really, to be honest, because I'm right-handed. So apologies. But if I try touching that pad there, which I'm expecting to have voltage, it's not there. Okay, so keeping that held just there, let's transfer this over so we can see that this is the negative here and that's off in this direction. This is our positive, so this is where I'm expecting to see positive voltage. We have actually got it there actually. Okay. Yep. Follow that over to here. So at least that bit there, that's pretty good. Doesn't seem to have any breaks in it. Okay. So that's supposed to be our positive and this is supposed to be our negative. What have we got here? Yep. 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 Okay then. So to all intents and purposes it does actually look like we're getting voltage through. So let's take that out for a second. Always double checking, so I'm going for a continuity check. Let's see if I can just check that that's got continuity there, which it should have. Yes, so that's good. So if I hold that probe there and come to here, yeah, no problems. Again, no problems. Okay, so we are getting, that's definitely negative to the board, at least to there. Not sure where, oh right, hits the ground plane on the other side. Okay, so go for the centre of the pin. If I spin it that way so you can see it on that camera. So centre pin, and then there we go. Yep, absolutely. Just make sure I am touching that properly again. Check to there. Okay. Obviously this test isn't exactly needed. It's sort of more for my own peace of mind. Okay. So that is the socket tested. So the socket is good, and its connections to the board are good. That repair worked, so I will leave it there, and we shall start working our way around the rest of the board. That charge. It said 16 volts on it, so we'll set the meter for 20 and we'll see what we get. I'm expecting a voltage and then a drop. Okay, so it does seem to be working. We'll follow the traces and see where else we can go. So, since we've last spoken, a fair bit's gone on. I've done a little bit of off-camera finding out around here. So I have established that the actual power LED itself is working, and that's okay. Following the leads back here, I can see these connectors here associate with these connections here on the board. Also working out exactly where that power switch goes as well, which is on, which is off. Handily, there is also actually a little mark on the side of the switch there as well. But yeah, following these leads back and where they go, sort of on the board here as well. I don't know if that's even in focus. Probably isn't. But yeah, and scratching my head. I've applied a little bit of voltage, so I know the LED's working. I've tested the continuity from the plug here back to the wires, and then the traces to their associated contacts as well. So I know that there's continuity through the sort of power socket circuit, and also of course the LED there. So it feels like this section through this connector isn't getting power. So looking online at the service manual, I have just double checked my thinking, and if it actually focuses, I can show you here. I have bridged a couple of pins on this connector, so that goes over the fly lead to that little circuit board on the back of the tape deck. So this is effectively switching on the 464 by bridging those two connectors without the need for plugging in the keyboard and that fly lead and messing with the power switch. So I've put this in, I have applied power, and this is the really exciting bit, chips got warm. Specifically these two, I think that one might have, I think processor did a little bit, and the gate array under here definitely got warm. So I was really happy, sort of moved everything into shot, ready to film this, and then everything kind of cooled down again. So it got power, it didn't get power. I've very carefully checked that I'm bridging this correctly, and I am. So the ambient temperature in here is, I think, about 20. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, pretty much 20. We'll drag that around and have a look elsewhere. Yeah, call it 20 degrees. So if I try some of these chips now, they're pretty much down to exactly what they were. So they're reading 21 there. Strangely, I've found, you see where that red spot is? Yeah, interestingly, that red spot is emitted in pretty much, I think, a straight line out of there, and the sensing goes on here. So if you see me sort of measuring the very top of a chip, it's so I get that straight line through the device, because chips will heat up in different areas. There you go. Oh no, I think that's pretty much just down to where it was. Also, these here, I'm thinking there's some resistance going on here, given the marking on the silk screening. These two got warm, and they're covered in a thermally protective fabric tubing, and they got warm as well. So there's got to be something going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crack this open. Again, many thanks to Ian Pretty at Retro Computer Shack. Like I say, I do get my cables from him. Just another quick note here: the quality of the product you're buying from Ian is top notch. You really can't argue with it. So yeah, I am just going to dig straight into this. I'm not going to keep the bag, but I do want to be using that cable. So let's pop that in the bin. Let's have a quick look at the paperwork that we've got here as well. Ooh. Okay. So again, super clear. So this is specifically information pertaining to this particular cable. Like I said, it's the powered cable. You put your power in one side, you put the other side in your CPC. You stick that in your sound socket just on the side. So we're over here, and then you get video out of the monitor port there, video and sound out through your SCART and to your TV, and it's pretty much the best picture you're going to get from your Amstrad. Unless of course you've got like a proper colour Amstrad monitor, which I have, but that's not working at the moment. So yeah, we'll use my flat screen. I use them for pretty much everything. We will plug this in, and then I shall apply some power and we'll see what happens. Like I said, the chips did warm up. I'm pretty sure something's got to be going on, but I want to check it. I want to see it for myself. So give me a second and I'll plug everything in. Right, so we've got everything ready. I'll pop the TV on. We shall. Right, where are our bits? So this is our 5-volt in. So let's plug that in there. Nice tight fit. Good. We shall pop the let's go monitor connector in first. Pop sound in over here as well. There we go. And then we're just waiting to apply some power. Right. So this is the moment of truth. we shall pop the power in and we'll see what happens. So after a little bit of fiddling around, I'm still not entirely sure that we're getting power properly to the board through this connector. I don't know. I've double checked my connection here. Everything seems to be okay there. When we plug in the monitor, we can actually see up here that the AV channel changes to RGB. Don't know if I need to change that to something else for a moment and then go back. But as we plug that in, we should see that flick to RGB. And there we go. Oh, splendid. Oh, but it's off again. Okay. All right. This is the thing. It's been so intermittent. It's been so intermittent. I'm just not sure what it is. It's really weird. It's obviously coming on for a moment or two. Gets really excited, that, you know, seeing the screen come up. Plug it back in again and see what happens. It's just really weird, and I just can't help thinking it's the connector, in which case I may just take it off. But there are signs of life. Like I said, the processor and the sound chip fired up, you know, it got warm. So there are signs of life. It's not a lost. Hello. All I'm doing is moving that, or at least that's what it feels like. I'm wondering if there's a way I can isolate myself from anything else. Right, I don't know about you, but I'm going to try resoldering that. So let's get that sorted out. Pop that over there. Pop this over here. We'll whip out the soldering iron. We'll take a bunch of that extra solder off the back, and then we'll carry on from there. So let's take our makeshift power switch out for now, and we'll carry on. So I'm going to introduce some fresh solder to this before I try removing the worst of it, just to help it melt. Okay. And we shall try and remove the worst of this and see where we get to. So interestingly, as I was heating up the solder, I got a really strong whiff of very, very old cigarettes. So I do wonder if all that yellow gunk that was on the bottom was actually sort of nicotine staining. It's a really strong aroma. But there we go. But yeah, quite interestingly, as I've cleaned up the solder off that. Let's have a close look, shall we? So let's pop the board round this way so we stay in focus. But yeah, the pads around here, you can see there's a wire. There's literally a wire soldered in there, creating that contact there, and that did test good to over here. So and then through to the other side of the board as well. So that fix does seem to work. This looks a little messy. I don't know quite what that is, where there's a hole there. I don't think it's a via of sorts. But yeah, the trace is ever so slightly lifting. I did see that start to lift. So yeah, I think I'm going to pop the socket out completely. Give it a, oh, there we go, I'm back in focus. Take the socket out completely, give it a clean up, see what I can do about cleaning it internally as well, because it's very hard. It's very hard to actually clean. If you can see it, you can't quite. It's not going to be light enough down there. The contact at the bottom here. It seems to make contact through, but I just can't help myself at feeling that this is possibly to blame. I believe I've got a spare. I'm sure I've got a spare. I may have a look at that and pop that in. But yeah, I think this is where our problem lies. Actually, I think I'm going to give it some fresh solder instead. Because we definitely get voltage through the port, but to the pins. Definitely get voltage to the pins, sort of on the side, and again on the back here. Yeah, I don't really want to replace it, but I have to. It looks ever so sturdy, and unfortunately, the modern parts don't look that sturdy. Just for a little bit of belt and braces, I'm actually going to solder in on this side too. Pull power sockets do get some forces applied to them, so I don't think it's going to do it too much harm. Just to solder in from this side as well. Again, the aroma of old tobacco is actually really strong. So yeah, I think that probably sorts the question of what was on the board. There we go. Okay, let's have a quick look at that. So I've soldered on that side, and of course on this one here. So, well, let's see if that's made a difference. Super excited. I probably shouldn't be quite so excited. But yeah, let's pop this all back together again. Make sure our camera can actually see this TV. Can it? Yeah, it can. Okay, so what's going to happen this time? Let me put my power switch back in. I think that should be. Pop in the video. And we shall reapply power. There we go. Happy days, happy days. Oh, brilliant. Excellent. Oh, and remember what happens when we power up an 8-bit micro? We type, oh, yes. We have no keyboard, but that's proof enough that it works. So I think, is that? Yeah, it's just a slightly tender connection, perhaps. I think I can do something with that. But brilliant. Okay, so that's proof enough the board works. It's booting up. It's very clean. It's ever so clean. Lovely picture, it really is. Okay, smashing stuff. We are making progress. So all I need to do now really is hopefully put this back in the case, or at least connect everything up, and we'll just see if it still works. So let me sort that out. Thank you very much for putting up with that. Apologies. I won't let that happen again, and normal service is now resumed. Thank you. So let's just clean up that little bit of soldering I've done. And bring back in the top half of the CPC. Alright, let's have a think about this. So we're going to want to go that way. So let's pop that in there. Very carefully apply our two keyboard tails. Actually, it's going to make far better sense to go the other way. I'm getting a little excited now. Can you tell? It all seems to be slowly but surely coming together. So let's pop that one in. And that one as well. Very helpfully, Amstrad have card mounted these, so it does actually make it a little easier to do. So pop that on. Okay, we're about there. Pull that back into view, just double check we can still see it. Sort of. There we go. Just a little bit better. Make sure it's on the right channel. And we shall plug our lead back in again. Sound on that side. I think our power switch is off. No, it isn't. There it is. Plug that in. Okay, so that's in the right place there now. And then switch on. There we go. We're back in business. Fantastic. Oh, okay. Don't know if the keyboard works. Let's find out. Hey, tin, print. Hello. Again. I'm assuming this is the first time. This keyboard's been typed on. God, in years. Who knows? I really don't know. Okay. Go to 10 and we shall run it. Yes! There is life. Fantastic. So another one brought back from the grave. So yeah, Gumtree purchase, didn't know if it worked. My friend Kriston very kindly collected it for me and then gifted it to me. He did pay for the Gumtree collection, so thank you very much. And yeah, oh, how do we get out of it? Oh, escape. There we go. Oh no, hello. Hey, there we go. We pressed that twice. And yeah, brought back to life. So realistically, it looks like it was a dodgy power switch. I cleaned that up. We didn't get continuity through that before I cleaned it, so that's now working. It looks like there was a problem with the socket, although it's okay now. It was very intermittent, getting power through there. I'm not quite sure why. Taking all that old solder off and then adding some fresh seems to have fixed that, and we're back in business. no chip swaps, no bad RAM. We don't know yet if there are any other lurking problems. I could go to load some software and it could be it could be all manner of nightmares still, but at least in basic it's got there. I think that's a pretty good sign. So realistically, I think that's about time for me to say thank you very much for watching indeed. I really do appreciate your viewing. If you like what I do, give us a thumbs up. It's nice to know. If you don't, give us a thumbs down, but do tell us why, because you know it'd be interesting to know. Get in touch in the comments below. I love a good chat. You know this already. And so yeah, if you like what I do, subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned for more, and thank you very much for watching. And I do look forward to seeing you again in another video soon. Bye.